Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a new update from the Rect Show. Didn't really want to make a new update, but given the wick earlier today, I thought, okay, well, we can do a small update on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and probably one more altcoin. I've also written an article on Cointelegraph earlier today in which I've explained that there's a few scenarios that could be watched, and Bitcoin is pretty much stuck inside a range. Well, we made a nice wick upwards today into the resistance area, which is for me the 7.7 to 7.8k zone. Wicked into it. Weekend moves are usually large traps, and we instantly came back down, and currently we are just back into the range. And if we zoom out a little bit, we can see that it's a range based from 7280 to 7390. So this is the whole support area you should be looking for longs, and this is the resistance area in which you should be looking for shorts. And this can go on for a little while. I mean, it's a nice range we have here, and there's no clear indication that there's a breakout ready to occur in the next few hours or days, given the structure of this whole upwards movement, that it can just take some time. What am I expecting? I'd prefer to expect that we've just witnessed the upside and taken the upside over here, which makes it more likely for me that we just continue to range for a little while before we are going to test the lows and take the liquidity below this level. So what I'm assuming to see is that we get like ranging like this, take the lows here, bounce back up and make one more move to the highs. Reminds me a lot of the movements we have seen in the period over here. Over here we made a nice rally upwards, consolidated for a while, took the highs, broke down low, took the lows, and then we started to rally some more. Ending off the February rally at 10.4k, which could be suitable that we can get one more rally before the halving and before a corrective move occurs. So I'm assuming we are going to see a similar phase as here, in which we're just going to range, took the highs here. We might go back above again, but I'm expecting to see that lows being taken here around 7.3, and then I'm going to look for long opportunities. If we break 7.8, I don't really see much resistance until we get towards the 8.4k zone. And if you know the CME futures chart, you know that there's a CME gap between 9 and 8.2. So we can even hit 9k until this thing reverses, but crucial for that is that we hold the 7.2k level and break above 7.8. The moment we make another rejection over here, or we make another rally up, go to 7.9k and reject again, I'm assuming that we are done. And then when we break below 7.3 and flip these zones, so if we make a move like this, and instantly reject the level for resistance over here, I'm assuming we're going to see further downwards movements in which 7.3 is a resistance area and the yearly level will be flipped for resistance back again. And then I'm going to point for 6.8 and 6.5. Overall, if we check the larger time frames, the 7.8 area is a pretty substantial area given the weeklies over here. If we break above, then we can just check the next levels around 8.4 and 9k as we've discussed. But even if we are making a move to here, to 8.4 and 9, I'm assuming that there's the pre-halving by the rumor sell the news FOMO going on, which usually leads into a sell-off in which we just grind back down towards the 200 weekly and may make the test and confirm it before we start the bull run later on. So this is generally my whole main scenario still, in which we're just going to test the lower levels in the end in the next months. Usually the second part of the year is not the best part of the year, except for December 2017. But I'm assuming that we're going to see some downwards movements in just ladders as we have seen over here before we start to rally upwards. So that's my view right now. Short term, not much. There's not really an entry on on BTC unless it goes to 7.3. If we go towards Ethereum, we can just spot a similar facing resistance right now, which could make me believe that we're going to test lower levels. There's also not really an entry right now for Ethereum for me, and I've actually made the two scenarios here as well. In such a trend as this, I'm not in favor of shorting, especially given that Ether BTC is doing fine as well and Bitcoin has some momentum. I'm looking for clear top structures which could be faced really soon, given that there is a bearish divergence occurring. However, I'm not going to take it here. I'm going to look for longs between 175, 181 for potential entries. And then assuming we're going to see one more rally towards 213 and maybe 226. If we break back up above 195 and then I'm going to look for longs on the flip. But I'm expecting this lower level to still be tested in the next period, which could be confluent with Bitcoin to 7.3. If you expect Bitcoin to bottom out and you want to take some more risk, Ethereum is the way to go. Similarly to Ether BTC, it's actually inside a resistance area right now, or bounced from a pretty significant weekly level, as you can see. And there's not really, in this structure, there's no real entry. The entry was here and I've missed it. So right now I'm just going to wait until it makes some movements towards like 0.027. If we get here, I'm going to look for short entries. If I'm not seeing weakness, I'm going to close. But my main long entries is around 0.023 and maybe even lower. If we break and flip the level here, that's going to be a new long entry towards 0.03. But in the end, this whole structure also needs to calm down. Pretty substantial flip, as you can see. We could see some more momentum going towards the next weeks before we are going back down for retests. And then the whole real alt season usually occurs in January, which I'm assuming to see happening later this year as well. But for now, Ethereum is also not showing any entry for me. I've just discussed the dollar pair and I've just discussed Bitcoin. I'm also going to discuss EOS, as that one is pretty much showing a similar structure as the other altcoins. However, it didn't really break out. What you can see is we have seen a sell-off after a downtrend. It came from $5.45 and went to $1.50. Retested the level, double bottom structure, claimed it, rallied upwards, rejected as resistance, flipped the level for support here, as you can see. After that, another rally towards resistance, rejected, tested for support, did it again, tested for support, did it again, tested for support, did it again. So we've nicely got a trend going on here, and now we are compressed while we have been testing the resistance for many times here already, in which that if we get an opportunity to break above, I'm going to assume that we're going to rally to 330, 340, maybe even 360, which is similar to the move we've seen on Cardano, which broke out of the same sort of structure towards the next level of resistance. So if you see nice opportunities for altcoins, they're looking pretty fine to take at the moment. However, you have to take in mind that to take profits appropriately, if you're trading, if you're investing, you have a different approach, as we've discussed in the video yesterday. If we go towards EOS against BTC, it's on a support level, as you can see. If I want to take some longs or look for longs, then I'm going to look for the area over here. If we hold the area, the green zone, as you can see, there's two lines over here. I'm assuming that we're just holding this whole support area and we're going to test higher, in which I'm aiming for 3,900 satoshis and 4,050. If we lose, you have a pretty short stop loss on beneath this, and then we're going to test the lows again. But given that the majors are showing strength, I'm assuming that we're going to see the same from the rest of the majors that did not have seen any strength yet, including Ripple. So that's a small update for today. I'll be back on Monday. If you have requests, I'll be tweeting out tomorrow the request tweet. You can reply beneath, and then we're going to check which coins we can take on the live stream on Monday. and I'm wishing you all a wonderful weekend.